Yes. Hi.
Hey, honey.
You look cute
Thank
today.
you so much. I wanted to go with wealthy white boy who yachts today. I didn't have this hat on earlier, but the humidity has fucked my waves up, so I had to put the hat on.
A white man would not wear a hat like that, just to
That's why I
give you that
said it
caveat.
wasn't a part of the original aesthetic. I had my linen
Yeah.
and I had my good boat shoes on, and I looked like I belonged on a yacht.
Are you going back into the streets?
Yes, and I will not be wearing this outfit tonight.
Oh, okay. You said I'm doing a switcheroo. I am doing a switcheroo, which is fun. No, I am. The weather here was like so wishy washy today, so I think I'm gonna stay my black ass here.
What is it like right now?
So like it was hot and cold. So like, I played my kickball girls, today. So it was hot at one point and then it was cold at one point. It was just like too much for me. So I was just
Okay.
like, oh, I had to go back home. And they be trying to turn up all day and I was like, I have work. I have things to do, darling. Oh, okay, wait. Cowboy Carter
Ah,
has officially dropped
yeah.
Star. Your quick thoughts, your opinions, the vibes. We're going to get into this because we of course are Beyonce stands and
Yeah,
fans.
that's right.
So first impressions, thoughts, vibes so far. It's been out for a
I
minute.
love it. I love it. I have really enjoyed and I love so what I love about this album is it feels situated similarly to how I Am Sasha Fierce was,
Oh
where that
Jesus,
it's like slow and the what
that's not my favorite album. So
well,
go
it's
ahead.
certainly not mine, but it's got like that slow kind of ballads at the front, like I Am, and then it's got the like fun dance songs at the back, like Sasha
Mm-hmm.
Fierce. Um And so I enjoy that I can go to certain parts of the album depending on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But there are still even structurally some similarities to Renaissance. Like Sweet Honey Buckin' is like pure honey, but country,
Yes.
and then you've got the ending there. There was another song that situationally like reminds me of a Renaissance song or like a setup. It's the
Tim.
blend between
Oh,
Desert Eagle,
oh, fuck. Okay.
Riverdance, and Two Hands to Heaven.
Okay.
That reminds me of that little movement between Plastic Off the Sofa and Virgo's Dance, Virgo's Groove.
Oh, so I get a lot of vibes from Two Hands to Heaven. Two Hands to Heaven gives me Virgo's Groove vibes,
Mm.
all because it's a long song.
Mm-hmm.
And because and then also goes into, I think on Virgo's Groove as well, she goes like a cappella in there. I cannot remember off the top of my head. And of course, she does it in um, Two Hands to Heaven. But I get that I also do get Dance for You,
Yeah, I call it country dance for you. That is like
Country.
that is country dance for you. At least the end
Yes.
of it feels very much like dance for you.
Yes, and I love it. I agree with you. When I first listened to the album, like at first I wasn't one of the people that was tweeting about the album as soon as it was dropping, like track by track, play by play, because
Mm-hmm.
I typically try to not lean into this like music critic type of vibe because bitch, that's not me. Like if I like the beat, I like the beat. If I like the vibe, I like the vibe. That's what I'm gonna do. So like I just was avoiding being like, oh, the percussion when she blended into Riverdance just always hits me. But when she silently goes into her low register, I don't know what the hell all this shit means. I just am like, oh, this is cute. Like Two Hands to Heaven was I think the first song I heard on the project that I was like, oh yeah, I'm here for that. Like, mm-hmm.
Is
You
that
have
your favorite
any
song?
yeah, I definitely
Okay.
is my favorite song. Hands down, favorite song on the album. Do you
Okay.
have any other? What is your favorites? I know it's probably a
My
lot.
number one is Riverdance. It is the
Okay.
only. It was the first song on the album that made me want to dance in the way that Virgo's Groove makes me want to dance.
Mm.
Like it's the kind of dance that doesn't really require or facilitate thought. You're just kind of like moving. It feels very natural and kind of whimsical. So I really love dancing to that. Um, and the first song I think I liked on the album outside of Blackbird because I really love that. I
Blackbird
love all
singing into
iterations of
the
that song.
lights. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do love that song. Was Alligator Tears. I really do love that
That is
one.
one
I
of my
love the
favorite
banjo.
songs.
The
That's really,
banjo
yeah.
is good for me. Like I've
Yeah.
learned that I really fuck with the banjo. I didn't know that, but I've noticed a commonality in the songs that I enjoy, and a lot of
Yeah.
them have the banjo.
Yeah, Alligator Tears is definitely one of my top songs. Two Hands to Heaven. And then I do like Yaya and Riverdance
Yeah,
a
it's fun. Yeah,
lot.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's just so energetic, and it gives me why don't you love
PYS.
me? Yeah, it's
Oh
giving me that
yeah,
why don't you love me vibe. Tell
I
me.
like that. That's true.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
it's giving that the 60s, 70s like thing. So I really, really like that. I mean, of course, the commercial songs like Levi Jeans to me and um Most Wanted are really good as well, surprisingly to me, and also do like that. She did have a little bit of like those up and coming country artists, black country artists on there as well. I do wish
Yeah.
Blackbird had a little bit more, but I know that some of the black women were also on like American Requiem and like Tyrant as like the background vocals. But the fact that Shabuzi got two songs and then Willie Jones got like I saw a feat is just kind of like, but I don't know how that. See, I'm not an A&R. See, look,
I see what you
see,
mean there. No, because I when I saw that they were on background vocals, because I think it was Tanner. I
yeah,
forget what her last
love
name is.
Tanner. It's like Tanner Treadell or some shit. Like, I'm sorry.
Um, well, so I saw that she was listed on Blackbird, but then she was the one that was like, "Oh, I'm also on in
Yeah,
American Requiem." So I mean, I feel like I could have opinions about that. I probably do. I just don't have the words for them right now. I
yeah,
do think that they could have had a more prominent role in the album. But I don't really know when or how that collaboration came about. So I
yeah,
don't know if it was like recent. It does seem to me like I remember all the changes that occurred when Renaissance dropped, and I'm
yeah,
curious if this drop was similar to that one.
for
And
sure.
considering how meticulous Beyonce is, I could believe that there were changes made to this one up until like the week before.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I read that. I think Shabuzi didn't hear himself. He didn't listen or didn't know that he was on it until like 9 p.m. That day of the
Damn.
29th. I think I heard that. You could unquote. It was probably on his page, but like I think he didn't know. But I was like 9 p.m. the 29th. The album was out at you know. So yeah, yeah, yeah. But sidebar. This is really off tangent. You know what did not gag me is these outfits that.
Jolene.
Okay, yeah, but that I'm talking about. I just switched. I pivoted.
Oh, okay, go ahead, girl.
These outfits at Gag City did not gag me. I was just looking at the way we showed up for Beyonce for Renaissance. I am highly disappointed by the barbs. I just
You,
wanted to bring that in just because I just am like not going up for none of these looks. They look a crunchy hot mess to
you
me.
thought that they were going to gag you?
They were not, but I mean, it's called Gag City. I'm looking for somebody to gag me when y'all literally had me choking because it was atrocious.
I
A
saw
hot
what I
mess.
expected. I got. I did. I was like, oh yeah, okay. This is have a style. Arabs
Yeah,
have a style, and they wore it.
unique. Unique. I just wanted to throw that
Unique.
caveat. Unique.
First of all, Gag City was never going to be what the cultural moment that Renaissance
That
was.
is
Like, it
fair.
just was never going to
It's
be.
not bringing in income.
And I'm not even entirely sure if that is because of like Nicki Minaj's antics or what, but like people just wasn't gonna go up at the level that they did for Renaissance for Gag City. It ain't have nothing to do with me, so I minded my business.
Yeah, me
But
too.
as far as the fashions go, I got just what I thought I was gonna get from them. That is just what I thought I was gonna get from the good number of them. God bless them.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Lord Devery.
And I'm Derwin King.
And welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy, where we create space, maintain space, and hold space for Black boys to be themselves. And
So much more. Ooh, they yelled that
you
one.
yelled that, sister. What has brought you joy this week, love?
Gardening. Gosh, did I already tell y'all I have a garden?
I don't. I think you told me offline. I
Okay.
literally thought guests were here. So when you said that, I was like, like with us. I was like, wait, do we have somebody in the audience? Yeah, no, you told me that offline, but I don't think you told our listeners.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah. So I started a garden a couple weeks ago. It's right outside of my home. There was a raised bed when I moved here, and I
Oh
knew that
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like going to want to do something with it, but I could not wrap my mind around gardening.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I have a friend with a green thumb who has taught me how to germinate seeds and just like how to take care of a garden. So I am in the process of doing that. I've got a lot of help because their aunt also is an amazing cultivator of soil and land. So I've been working on that. Hopefully by the summertime, I will have lots of things to eat from in my raised bed.
Yes.
But it's a really like it's something to be passionate about. It is a really nice and like peaceful activity. I care about it. I'm checking on it every day. I'm de-weeding it and watering it, and it's just
Hmm.
something to really nurture, like the plants that I have now. So I feel myself becoming this like not plant daddy, but like I really do want to learn nature in a way that I feel like I wouldn't have if I weren't in this part of my journey right now.
I love this for you. I
Thank
love
you.
plants. I'm a plant dad. Not a plant dad. Let me not lie. I have plants. Because when people say like plant dads, they're like thinking of like things all over the walls and just like, no, I have plants that have not died. And I have one, two, three, four, five, six plants in my house.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah, I
yeah.
think I have one, two, three, four. I have four in here and then the garden outside.
You also have that big one. That
Yeah,
really,
the
really big
fig
one.
tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, shout out to you being a garden dad, okay? An aspiring, progressive garden daddy. What has brought me joy this week? I think the wrap up or conclusion of my birthday.
Yeah.
Um, I know we shot before my birthday happened, you all, but my birthday is commenced. I'm finally done with my shenanigans and festivities. It was actually one for the books. Party and dinner went amazing. A lot of anxiety, but overall was really good. So I feel like this week was just finally getting to reflect and be like, all right, you know, things didn't blow up, things didn't go to shit. You had a great time, you had fun. Um, so yeah, I think for me that was like really like, I mean, I guess that's like that what brought me joy was just finally like being able to sit down and be like, you went through it, you didn't die, and you're here.
I know that's right.
You know me, I'll be over here stressed like a mug just because like I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna say it now because my Virgo, you know. It's my Virgo, you know. I like things to be a certain way, but yeah, that has brought me joy.
Beautiful. So, our Black Boy Joy spotlight this week goes to Jarrell Duran. I believe I'm saying that right, but he is one of the contributors to Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album. He's a singer and songwriter from Detroit. And so he's in the vocals for Jolene in the back, which
Hmm.
actually are really nice. Um, he also has some music content. He does like some informative music content, which is really engaging. He's a really nice voice. But check him out on Instagram. That's Detroit Jarrell. So that's DetroitJerel.
Yes, and we'll be getting into today. Give us what we talk about today, girl.
We're talking about sex. We're talking about fucking sex.
We talk about it all the time, you
I know, but
all.
I feel like sex is a conversation that you can attack in many different ways. Like the many ways you can have it, you can talk about it in just as many ways. So I'm actually wanting to. I watched the Freaknik um documentary the other
You
day.
did.
I watched the Freaknik
Ooh.
documentary the other day, and I thought to myself, "Damn, where the gays at? And like,
Oh,
what were the gays doing? Because they describe Freaknik as this thing that starts as this like, just this picnic, where the college students from DC or in Atlanta can come together instead of going home for the break and just enjoy each other's company, and it grows from there, and they start dancing, and somehow it becomes this liberated,
cultural thing, yeah.
yeah, where people are just like having fun. They're expressing themselves in ways that they probably wouldn't have felt comfortable doing at home or wherever they go to school, and then turns into this like complete, like, I don't want to call it a sex fest because I don't think that's true, but it just comes into
Sexually
this
charged.
very sexually charged event. Um but I just thought to myself, like, damn, because they were talking, they were like, men would come and find them a woman, and the women would come and find them a man. And I was like, okay, well, what about the niggas who was looking for niggas and the girls who was looking for girls? So they just weren't there. And obviously, we know that can't be true. Like, they had to be present, but like, obviously, they weren't represented in that. So I just thought that was interesting. And I, I was curious what people were saying about it online, but someone said that their mother reported that someone in their family was out and went to a Freaknik and ended up being like assaulted. Not sexually assaulted, but like physically assaulted. There was like a hate crime. So I guess it just wasn't a safe space for us. But if I know anything about the gays, we had been partying hard for a very long time. So I know the girls
Wow.
was in Atlanta getting down. They just
Or,
weren't doing it at Freaknik.
or we was going to like New York for like balls, probably too.
Well, I'm sure they had a. I wonder if there was a ballroom scene in Atlanta at the time. Was it only in New York? I'm
I think it was just
curious.
probably like mainstream. Probably, I don't know. We
Yeah,
probably
that's
every.
interesting.
I think every like there was every city had like a house basically,
Yeah, I
to
would
my
be curious
knowledge.
about what that looks like in Atlanta. I should do some research about that.
Oh,
But I wanted to talk about these kinds of events for us and how we find ourselves in those spaces, what we feel in those spaces, and what they contribute to our culture from our perspective. So I wanted to ask you first, have you ever been to a circuit party?
I've actually only been to one. Actually, I've only
Really?
actually been to one circuit party. I think for me, I've always wanted to go, just because of the curiosity of those spaces, like what they are actually like. But I've always felt uncomfortable. And it's not because of somebody else. It was because of my own attachment to my own like physical attributes. I
Hmm.
just didn't feel like I was the market of guys that would typically go there.
That's really interesting. When did you go? Did you go in the last year?
Yeah, I went last year.
Okay,
So one of my friends, they host a like circuit party. Wait, you said circuit party, right?
I did.
Okay, God, I'm thinking sex. I was like, I don't think I've been to one yet. Well, I don't think I've been to that one. But I had to make sure I didn't tell y'all listening to the wrong thing. But my one of my friends hosts like circuit parties here,
Hmm.
and I've always wanted to go, but I never like always my schedule just never like hit at the same time. So this time I actually went with one of my good friends, and it was a very like chill vibe. I mean, yes, there were eyes that were looking, and then there were like people that were like would be forward, but nothing too touchy. Like nobody wouldn't touch nobody, but like I think I'm just not used to feeling like I am the one that is the commercial demographic for those spaces. So, because I'm very like nerd. I don't know. I feel like I'm not like a body boy, like a body gay. Like I'm not. I'm tall, but
Well,
like
what did you see when you were there?
I've seen a lot of different bodies. But I mean I did. I mean to be honest, I've seen it's very much a different. But like to be honest, in our community, like the ones that get the most attention are like the ones that bodies look commercially the most fitting. So like
Okay.
yes, it was very much like a lot of different bodies and shapes were in there, but you could clearly know like the girls that know that their bodies look this way were definitely like the center of people's attention. And
That's
I
so
think
interesting considering how fit you are too, by the way.
I know, but I think it's because I think of myself. I've never thought of myself as like the commercially attractive, physical, like guy. And I think that's just only my interpretation. Like when I was getting approached that night, those nights, and I talked about it on the episode, like I was like, me, moi, and like I was just like, oh, like I mean, I know I have like attributes. I've talked about it, but like I just think for me, it just wasn't something that like I always like was comfortable like leaning into. So I
Yeah.
think I felt comfortably comfortable. And I think I've also just been in more sexually liberated spaces. Not saying I'm like entering into sex or like or nudity. Like I've went to a new beach, one of my friends before.
I've
And it
never done
was
that.
very nerve wracking at the beginning, but then I just leaned into it and it was perfectly fine. I had fun and like I mean, of course there were eyes and onlookers, but like I think for me it's just like not being afraid to be
Mm.
in a space that you feel is uncomfortable because of the perception or what people's um, views of them have been. So, I mean, yeah. How about you?
So, I mean, I guess I've been to several at this point. I've probably been like
not,
six.
not only I've been to several.
Well, I will have to say, at the beginning of my adulthood, those spaces never felt like they were for me. They didn't feel like anything that aligned with what I was interested in doing, or how I felt it was necessary to express myself. And I think I also had these feelings about like my body not being the kind of body that would be appreciated there. But
Me too,
even
girl.
still, what's true about me is I really love being naked. And like that is regardless of how my body has ever looked or how it ever will be. I grew up in a naked household
Me
and I
too.
feel most comfortable when with my clothes off. So if there is an opportunity for me to go somewhere and be semi or fully naked, am going to take it.
Wait, so
Um,
when you say you grew up in a naked, like a naked house, give me what do you mean by that? So I can see if I
Mostly what that looks like is the mom is walking around naked.
that part. Yeah, same. Just wanted to clarify. It was the
So
mother.
yeah, it's always the mom. I mean,
Yeah, it was
I
very much
had a
so too.
naked mama.
Me too.
And so like by my body and bodies in general aren't inherently sexual to me. They just
Yeah,
are first. They exist first. And then I can attach whatever sexuality to them based on whatever, I believe is attractive. But I like I like to not have clothes on. So I'm gonna do that anyhow.
I would do that
But
anyway. That's my business.
um I don't know. The circuit parties have felt different. I always thought they were white, so that was why I never really wanted to go to as well. Like I was just that's why I was meant when I was like I don't really want to be in those spaces. It was because I didn't think that there would be enough people who looked like me or who I related to, and who would show appreciation for how I show up in that
Yes,
space,
yes,
right? Because I could be fetishized in a space like
yes,
that, but
absolutely.
like just to be celebrated and to have like an interaction with someone that I can relax into, I wasn't sure about those. So that was why like deviant parties seemed interesting to me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
I think for me, as I agree with you on that because I feel like for me, like it's the like embracing me or embracing what I'm bringing to this space instead of being like fetishized, whatever the fuck the word is. I feel like that's always been my experience of just like I think my fears of rejection. I'm gonna be honest, like a fear of being rejected in a space like that. Like, oh, I don't want you. I want this type of body, or like I'm one of the people like in those type of spaces. I don't unless I'm like very very comfortable, then I will be more forward. But like in those type of spaces, I'm like I'm just there to just like be a vibe or like have fun, like not
That's what
looking
I'm there
for
for.
people to like pursue me in it. So I think I agree with you because I think I've always thought of myself as like just not that's not my scene. Like I've always thought like that's not like where I've never been like this sexually liberated person. Even though I grew up like in a naked household, like I just never just was like comfortable like in being like my physique or my sexuality because I just was always looking at these people that we I think it's also our community like the people that are always on the poster like are the people that are always on the flyers. It's like
Okay.
these people that are like physically like insanely big, and I'm like, I don't have that.
So I've seen okay, so I get what you mean by that, because I think oftentimes you will see the more like mass muscular. That's what I was looking
Yes,
for.
girl.
You will see the more muscular people on the flyers, but I think that's more of a representation of marketing than anything else to me, because like I've worked at the deviant parties before. I've never been to frequency, but I really want to go to one of those. I want to see what that is like. But I know that like everyone is encouraged to do clothes check
Hmm.
at the deviant parties because the idea is for everyone to be in a comfortable situation where we're all putting ourselves out there, right? And so
Hmm.
the idea is that you have multiple body types in the air in the room that are being celebrated or that are being displayed, and that the music is just right so that people are relaxed and they're having a good time. And it isn't it I don't think I have felt like it's a showcasing of like that muscular type. I think that it really does seem like a marketing thing to me. That's what it seems
Yeah.
like to me.
Does it
But
does it depend on which party, like which type of
more
parties
than
you go
likely,
to?
I'm sure if you went to the New York ones, or
Mm.
to, and I've been to the one in DC, and even then, I will say I felt a little self conscious at the DC one, but that was also because I had like no muscle mass, and I was like, I think I was. It's like, what do you want to wear to these, right? And this has more to do with like the best way to dress your body up than
Yeah.
anything else. But I thought we were just supposed to wear like harnesses there, and I might have worn one, and I just wasn't ready to. Like I was like, this doesn't even look good on me. Whereas now I know I can put on my Leak NYC, and it's gonna hug my body in the exact right places that
Hmm.
it needs to, and then I'm showing up in that space in a way where I feel sexy, which seems more important than anything else. Like
Yeah.
the last time that I was at a deviant event, I was wearing this red lace. Is it lace? It's not lace. This red
It's fishnet.
It
right?
kind of fishnet, but it was one of the leak pieces.
Yeah.
Have I ever shown it to you?
I think you wore a shirt. I think you did. You wear it to like? I think you took a picture with like a drag queen in it.
Yes, right. Yes,
Hmm.
that is. I wore that to a obviously without the pants,
Yeah.
to a deviant event, and it just was so like it fit my body really nicely. And this was like a month into me being at the gym, so nothing had really changed in my body.
This
Like
is why. Yeah.
this, like
This.
nothing had really changed. My body was still pretty much the same way it had been the year before, with the exception of like a little bit more strength. But it was so nice on my body, and I felt super sexy. And I think that that confidence exuded, and I saw people responding to that, and that was a good feeling.
I, this goes back to our fitness podcast episode because it goes back to how we feel in those spaces. Um, because how we physically feel. But do you feel like those spaces created versus how you actually show up? Like a space for people to be liberated and like feel no judgment, if that makes sense,
So
versus you.
I want to say this: I don't think that these spaces create judgment. I think that if anything, we're coming into it with our own beliefs and
Yeah.
our own fears, right?
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, the idea is that everyone comes in here naked, period. So whether you I should also say that people who have bodies that we admire still have these
Body dysmorphia.
insecure, yeah, they still have these insecurities, right? So we're all walking into these spaces with our insecurities about our bodies, but the idea is that we are having a good time and feeling sexy. You
Mhm.
have to feel that way, I think, before you walk through the door. Otherwise
Yeah.
it is going to seem that way.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I think, but that also talks about those specific spaces, which we've never both been in because it doesn't create a space for us, is those type of spaces that are, say, like no fats, no films.
Yeah.
Those type of sex spaces are kind of like harmful. And that's what I was saying about like, it's sometimes it's the judgment prior to the actual space, right? It's
Well, I
the
can.
fear of being judged because you might not see yourself on it or you've never been to one before. So you don't know what to expect or anticipate. I think that is
Hmm.
like where my thoughts come from is sometimes because like you would think that if you go to a sex party or you go to a space that is very sexually charged or sexually liberated, you would see everybody having fun, i.e., like indulging in things, just because it's a space that is liberated by it. But you sometimes feel like it'd be only one set of people that will be able to do it and have access versus like everyone, if that makes sense in my head.
Well, I guess so. One of the things that the deviant party specifically,
Oh yeah,
like
we're
they
talking about
have.
DV, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
because as like I said, I've never been to Frequency before,
Yeah.
but it's important that we note that there are people who are throwing some of these events who keep body positivity in mind,
Deviant is one,
and
yeah.
that exactly like that's the thing that I heard a lot from them is that they welcome and celebrate bodies of all shapes,
Mm-hmm.
shades, and sizes.
Yep.
And so I'm wondering which kinds of are you seeing how, because I know that when people advertise as sex parties, I've seen those before, and I
Mm-hmm.
see that there are times when those are
Yes.
marketed that way.
Yes.
This is where I think it gets a little difficult for me because I have never been to a sex party,
Yeah.
and I'm really not I would not want to be in a space with people who feel that way
Yeah.
and who see people that way, let alone have sex with them.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was saying. Like, we've never been to those type of spaces before, but what they socially put out before, like frequency and deviant,
well,
are,
they're different things because I don't
yeah.
think people advertise sex parties the way that they do like the circuit parties.
Oh yeah, two different things. Oh yeah, yeah. Circuit parties. Oh no, no, no. What I'm saying is like going into both. Those are two different. Like at the circuit party, I didn't see anyone engage in anything like sex. Like it was very much free. The way you dress was a little bit more provocative. So that is that. Leaning into what say like sex spaces and like sex safe spaces. I'm talking about like I've never been to one, but I'm talking about the tone that are used around those when you're seeing them on the socials, i.e., specifically Twitter.
Ah,
Specifically
okay.
Twitter. Those type of spaces is like is are those spaces and it's a thought. It's not like there's an answer because we are both never been to those. But like, are they creating a safe space, a safe sex space, sex safe space for everyone, or for an exclusive type of individual?
What does that look like for you?
With the safe sex space, the
Yeah.
like the invite. Well, I think not saying no certain people, right? Not saying no fats, no films, or like not saying that, or emphasizing come as you are. Like this is a space that is welcome to any and everyone, so that we are creating a space where individuals can and will find individuals that they feel comfortable with engaging with. So I think for me, it's the approach of those type of spaces possibly, and maybe just like what, because I know it's probably hard to get a certain type of people there because of people's perceptions, but I think
Mhm.
it's like leaning into creating a space or creating information or creating an environment, even with transition to circuit parties as well, like with people that may have hesitancy. Because I've had plenty of friends that are like, "Oh, I'm not going to go to those. Like, that's not my type of scene," and it's because of the perception of like what people think it of it as, or what has been what people view those type of entities as for in its entirety.
So I was going to lean more into that part too,
Mm-hmm.
and what I've seen for people's hesitation to going to events like black circuit parties. Like I know here there seems to be uh hmm, it is the perception.
Yeah.
It is about the perception of I'm going to show up in this space, and then people, my peers, maybe because I feel like it's a little less this way, and maybe in northern areas, but like in the south, it's a lot of like who is going to see me in this space with my clothes off,
Yes.
and like what my body looks like, and what they are going to say afterwards, which is so
Yeah.
silly to me. But I understand that we have complicated relationships with each other in our communities, and that like people aren't always very kind.
Yeah.
But I think that's so interesting considering that like for some of these spaces the objective is to get, they want people there, they want people spending their money, they want people to make sure that they're paying so that these parties can continue to happen, and you need the attendance up in order to make that happen. So of course they're going to
Yeah.
want people of all different body types to be there.
Yeah.
But the same way that like the muscular person might be attracted to the other muscular person, the person who's not very muscular might also be very attracted to that muscular person, right?
Yeah.
So like choosing that body type as the one that you put on your flyer is probably effective.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like there have been efforts, and there should be
Yeah.
more efforts to use diverse bodies in the marketing.
Yeah. That's all I think. My thing is like and it's also just because of like I think it's just I've always had hesitation or reservations. Like I'm curious. Like I'm gonna be very transparent. I've always been curious to go to those type of spaces. Now I'm not saying I want to act. I will be honest. I don't want to act in it yet. That's just me having sex in front of people or in a space with someone.
Oh, you're talking about a sex party.
Both and I'm
Oh,
just saying
okay.
like go. I've said so. Going to a circuit of frequency, like circuit party. Sorry, more so. I had to feel comfortable because I didn't know what to anticipate because I had a perception of it versus what it also typically was because I had to feel comfortable. And
Yeah.
then with I think it's also my afraid of like being solicited, just unwarranted advances, or just like being like gawked at, or just touched, or physically like I don't like that. Like I don't
That's
want to feel
me.
uncomfortable. Like
That's me.
that's what it is. Like I'm not giving you permission to touch on me because
Okay.
I am not wearing a lot of clothes.
So now you're getting to the point where these spaces become complicated for me because I, like I said, I like to be naked, but that does not mean that I want anyone putting their hands on me. I've always
Mm-hmm.
expressed that like I'm a look but don't touch kind of girl. Like
Yes.
we can have a conversation, and like you can gauge, I'll give you consent to touch me if it's okay, but don't assume that because we're in this space that you can put your hands on me. And that seems to be the difficulty in navigating spaces like that, is
Yeah.
where does the consent start, and what is the most practical way to navigate that space? So
Mm-hmm.
is this a space where I have to assume that someone's going to touch me and then I have to tell them no? Or is this a space where the rules in general are do not, without
Yeah.
being given direct consent? Because I think some people would argue that that takes the fun out of the space. I could see that being an argument
Yes.
for that, you know?
It is.
And that's a real concern. I think that's a really good thing to bring up. And I still don't really have an answer. I would love to talk to the people who run these spaces and see
Yeah.
what their thought processes are around this, because I've never really seen like a list of rules the way
Yeah.
that they do at like the Ascendance Party here in New Orleans. There's a list of rules. And I
Really? Do you like?
yeah,
I don't know if you could look it up while we talk, but I'm
the
just
Ascendants.
curious. Yeah, like if you could just read some of what those rules maybe
Well,
can
you have
be.
to understand too
Ooh,
that Ascendance is not, it is not a circuit party.
it's
So
a sex party.
no, it's neither of those
Oh, okay.
things. So that is why those rules are probably more welcome. Um, let me see.
Because I also think about it in correlation to like Freaknik in like the conversation of like unwarranted advances or unsolicited like feels or nods. Like I think it
Mm-hmm.
takes the joy away from like allowing people like for example, I love the new beach because like nobody was like touching me. Right? There was nobody that was like being like very like gawking. And I think that's the thing for me is like, in order for you to create a safe space, maybe in my head, is like you have to also allow, you have to put parameters in place for it to be safe. You can't just say, this is a safe space. What actions are saying that this is a safe space for it
Well,
to be that way?
that's why I was asking you what safety is, because some
Mm-hmm.
people are going to be like, for some people, what creating a safe space in these environments means is that no one is going to police my body. No
Right.
one is going to make me feel uncomfortable or
Yeah.
say harmful things about my identity and about my body that make me feel like I'm not welcome in this space. And I feel like what a lot of the circuit party creators or hosts and founders are trying to do is to eliminate that, because they
Yeah.
want the attendance. Naturally, we want people to have a good time. It's a party.
Yeah.
But that safe space probably, while they're not, I know for a fact that they're not looking for people to be violated.
Yeah.
I'm not
Absolutely
entirely
not.
sure that they're what the protections against that really look like. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I think it's also like having dancers that look like different body types too. And also, if I was on a mic, I'd be like, all right, I see you over there looking fine. Or talking about, just like hyping people up. Like just reminding people on the mic or just like letting people know, like, if someone says no, this is a reminder to not, to not touch them. If please do not, grope or fond. Like just, I think saying these things to preface before you go into these spaces, I think it's always helpful to set the tone. Because I think sometimes I'm like, girl, what are we about to do? What am I about to walk into? This is a Russian roulette. Like,
I
what?
found the rules for Ascendants too, by the
Yes.
way.
Let me hear what these
So
rules are.
there's house rules. They did this in June of 2023. And so the dues are: turn the fuck up in celebration,
Period.
practice loving kindness and regard for all people, be 21
Yes.
or up, we card, ask for and receive consent before touching anyone, be kind and warm to all staff and volunteers, head to the volunteers at the door, the booth, or the bar if you need support, and come early if you still need to buy a ticket. Don'ts are: don't bring any transgressive fuck shit of any kind with you tonight.
Period.
No isms allowed. If you're unsure, please refer to the ticket link for precise details on what that means. Be too drunk or act right in our space. Don't put your drinks or things on the altars or DJ table, and don't say the word nigga in our space unless you're black. And don't bring a camera other than your cell phone, because we have a photographer. But again, this is not a circuit party.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if it completely goes against the vibe to have that for a circuit party. I
What's
don't
the
know.
difference? I'm just curious then, like, what is the difference then between
This
that
is
and a
a
circuit
party.
party?
This is a party.
Yeah.
Period.
I think a circuit party is just the music.
Okay, the specific. So it's really important to note that what people expect with these
Yes.
circuit parties is like a clothes check.
I'm thinking when I
So
think of a second party girl, I'm over here thinking EDM music. I'm over here thinking strobe lights. I'm over here thinking like rage. I'm very much giving. This is the white space. All right, this is the white girl space. Turn the fuck up.
because it's a dance party,
Yes,
but
because clubs sometimes people don't be motherfucking dancing.
Sure, but like you're not going to see people with their clothes on at these, like this
You're
is not the same. Like there is a clothes check so that people can be in their
Oh
underwear.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, at the party at Ascendant, what is it?
Ascendance.
Ascendance. It's you wear your clothes, correct?
Yes, that is a
Okay,
regular
that's the
party.
same. Regardless of like the circuit, yes, circuit is there's less clothes. I assume. Then this is look, y'all. Do not correct me and Derwin are having a think piece right now, y'all. Okay, we are not experts. We are just talking about our
Well, because
experiences.
there's like what they are on paper, and then
Yeah.
there's how they come about. Like if you've gone to
Yes.
them,
Yeah.
then your expectation is typically that there may or may not be a dark room. There are going to be people in leather. There'll be harnesses. People will do the clothes check, so they won't have their clothes on. And I think like I don't think that it's mandatory, but I think you could have that expectation about going to the event. Whereas a party that is not like this, like an Ascendance
Yeah.
party, there is no mechanism for people removing their
Yeah.
clothing, and there is no under what's the word I'm looking for? There's no underlining presence of sex.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, my only. I was thinking, what could you still say those things and make it a circuit party?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is
that's a
that what you would
caveat.
want? Because it sounds like Ascendance would be a perfect party for
Yes,
you.
because I think you being in that type of space and you just in your underwear, I think that also creates like a safe space too.
No,
Like,
I disagree. I
okay, let's get into it.
100% disagree. I think that being in a space like that and being in your underwear don't actually. I'm. Give me a second to formulate my
Yeah,
thought on
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I was thinking of having those. If you're going to create a safe space where people can be nude or in a space where they could potentially feel like they were uncomfortable, having things like, no isms in it, no rude, like no touch, like have consent before you touch somebody. Like I think you could still say those things because it's putting giving people the expectation of what this is. That's my only thing is I don't. It's just giving an expectation instead of just being like, "Come in, have fun." And it's like, but what is fun in this space?
Right. So I do agree with that. Maybe the issue that I'm having, the difficulty that I'm
Yeah,
experiencing in this particular conversation is how I have experienced Ascendance and what I understand it to be. It is a dance party, so I just don't think that the naked part would be necessary. But I hear you
yeah,
blending something like that with
yeah,
like what I have understood circuit
yeah,
parties to be,
yeah. Because I'm not
and
thinking of it. I'm not thinking of ascendance. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is. So like I
yeah,
can't put. I'm thinking of when you give these like, okay, these are the things before you get here. These are the vibes. Like a code check. Like these are what to. I think it's like when you go to a concert, right? And what you expect at the concert. Because if it's somebody that's never been to one,
I think people would
yeah,
ask you what the point of being naked is.
yeah. I think that's the part is like wanting to create a liberating space for all bodies or for all people. Like I think it's because we don't usually have spaces where because people really like to be naked. Like we've talked about it. My
Really do
mom
like
grew
to
up
be
naked.
naked.
We grew up with moms that were naked. Shit, we walk around naked. So like being in spaces where you feel you are in your like your original attire,
Yeah.
nudity. I think people feel free and comfortable. Even I sleep nude. So I
Are there
think it's like,
naked parties? Like, do people have naked parties that are
yes,
non-sexual?
girl,
Because I'm
probably.
telling you that what you're saying sounds
Yes.
perfect for me, but I
Yes.
don't think that like our general culture has a non-sexual
I mean,
relationship with being naked.
that is true because, for example, how Freaknik was, it didn't start off as a overly sexuated event. It became that because people started to make it that way. So I do agree that I don't think that we have anything. Probably y'all, we are thinking this through. I agree that sometimes I think one apple can ruin a whole batch. I will say
Mm,
that. Like that is the only thing is like there is probably spaces. There are probably very very exclusive, very discreet. That's why, like, with certain places, like I've seen on Twitter, like if there's like a sex party, like you have to get like a invite. Like you can't, it's parties that to be like, you know, um, it's like they don't tell you the location. Have you ever been to one of those type of parties before? You don't
no.
know the location. You get an invite, or somebody. It's like it's not on the flyer. It's like invite only, or like when you like I've seen it. Oh my god, I can't believe you've never seen it. It's like those type of
No,
parties.
I
Just
know
like
exactly what you're talking about. I've
yeah,
just never been to one.
I know me either.
So
Yeah.
there is a history of these kinds of parties existing, these nude
Mm-hmm.
parties that have been at universities, and apparently Yale has one, and Brown University also
Because it was in the
either
movie
had.
The Secret Lives of the College Sex Girls. I don't forgot that.
Oh, you just
Yes.
taught me something.
Yes. It's like they create a space and like they just take off their clothes and like walk around and drink and stuff like that.
That's very, very interesting.
Yeah. I'm just like, why can't you put a damn expectation? That's my mindset is if and that's what's going back to the fears, right? The fears of going into a space that you don't know. What can I expect? Because then that makes me hold you accountable if somebody is not following those rules and creating a space for that. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is like, if we want these spaces to be that way, we need to, people do need to be monitoring what is happening at those spaces so that they have people that they can report it to. And then B, like, how are you showing up like that? So that's what I'm saying. Like with Freaknik, I think people did not feel comfortable because they didn't have support when they were being
When they didn't
sexually
want to
assaulted or
participate
did
in
not
that,
want
or
to
yeah,
participate in those type of things.
yeah,
So
that makes
that's the
sense.
thing is like when I go to one of these parties, where is the space of like if I don't want to participate in this, what is going to happen if somebody goes above that or beyond that? Because then it's not safe. Then it's not a safe sex space because I am not safe. And that's the thing that I'm saying is there needs to be, and I'm not saying that people don't do that. I said that is a caveat or nuance. It's probably hesitation or reservation if there hasn't been a pattern of spaces. I know Deviant and all those spaces of frequency, not talking about those, but like they create safe spaces and they have
Well, I
allowed
think
it.
we
Yeah.
would need to talk to them. I think
Yeah.
we should seek to talk to them about what this looks like for them.
Yeah. That's all. I mean,
Um,
it's just a nuance. I was like, this is so nuanced because I'm like, what is our experiences with it? What is our thoughts about it? What is all of those things? Because why haven't we been and what made us go to them? You know, I think about that because I was
to
like,
what?
oh, like sex parties or sex safe spaces or circuit parties, like places where you are not traditionally clothed or wearing less
Well,
clothes.
because the people are going to the sex parties to have sex, and then
Yes.
the people are going to the second parties to either dance with the other men or look to possibly have sex,
Yes.
um, or just to feel like to release. A lot of people will say to release their inhibitions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because that's the other part that I think is really important. That means something different to everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm
Um,
saying is like, what does scented mean something different to people? And that's why I'm always like, because for example, like and this is probably voyeurism, right? Like I would like to be at a space like that where I'm watching and seeing people, but then it's like not like I'm judging or like I'm like looking at them like, I'm like I'm someone that like I wouldn't prefer watching you. I wouldn't prefer creating a safe space for that type of space. But then it's like if you don't do it, then you don't get to be there. And it's like, ooh,
I should
got
probably
it.
say that in these events, I don't think I can recall a time where someone touched me in a way that felt uncomfortable. I should probably say that too.
Yeah, same.
And that but you're right that I don't really know what I would do if they had outside of like handling it myself. I don't really know if there's any other direction that would go through. And I'm not even sure, like, I know.
I
It's
mean,
so
I ultimately
difficult.
just leave. If you feel uncomfortable, oh, this is not a comfortable space.
And then you're like, I'm never going to come to this space again, but I'm sure that's something they wouldn't
I
like.
mean, I think that that's an individual. Like, if it's like
Yeah.
your personal thing, like, oh, I'm never going to go because, like, well, did you reach out to somebody and let them know?
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
difference. You know what I'm trying to
Right.
say? Is like
Yeah,
that's a
I do.
personal response to it versus what that is. But I do want to ask you, since we're on this conversation, I think about like releasing your own inhibition and sex parties, our perceptions, our thoughts, the whole conversation. What Freaknik is? What does sexual freedom look like to you? Then.
Okay. So, I mean, like, I've always. I want to be able to celebrate my body and how sexy it is, while also feeling empowered to make decisions about it. And I don't want to feel any pressure to make any decision in any direction. And I think, like, historically, I've had some poor boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't enter in spaces where those boundaries will be tested. Those boundaries are stronger now.
Yeah.
So I feel very confident that I could navigate them, right? I feel very confident that I could express my sexuality in ways that feel comfortable. So that means being, as naked as I want to be and as is socially acceptable. Um, and celebrating the way that my body is made and the way that I am shaping it. I think it means dancing with freedom, without care. And I think it means having sex with the people I want to have sex with and who want to have sex with me. But I don't necessarily. Hmm. I feel like I have it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
Well, because I'm thinking, I'm like, well, what? Because it's hard for me to talk about this in context of like these parties, but when I'm thinking
Take it
about what it
outside of
looks
the
like at
context. Yeah,
home,
yeah. Take
right?
it
Like, what
outside
is
of
it?
that context of the parties. Think of
Yeah, yeah,
home.
yeah. Okay. So at home, I think that sexual freedom looks like me doing all the things that I want to do with the people that want to do it with me.
Hmm.
So that looks like communicating about like what my desires are in the bedroom, and having my partner be interested in those desires,
Hmm.
and asking and actually having a conversation about it.
Hmm.
But it feels like something I'm intentional about and something that still feels like is within my control, even if it's a shared control with the people I'm having sex with.
Hmm.
I feel like I've said before that I have like that like large sex with more than one person or more than two people sounds like interesting to me in theory, but then in practice maybe not so. So I feel like in an ideal world maybe I did participate in group sex, but like with a controlled number of people in a space that felt safe and didn't include people I have no interest in.
Hmm.
So like, but I don't really want to be in an environment that excludes people, and I don't even really want to have to navigate rejecting anyone.
Yeah,
Like, and also like the best kind of sex I've ever had has been tied to my emotions, and
yeah,
I'm not gonna feel that much for like 5 to 6 people. So it really doesn't sound practical to me.
yeah. The only reason I asked was they had the thought process around the personal and the spaces. Do you feel like that sexual freedom conversation, there's not that many controls that you have in that spaces? Not okay. And that's why I was seeing is like, do you feel like you can't, or you saying I only want to have sex with this person if
Yeah,
they're
like that. So
yeah,
because I feel like for me, safety is always the more important thing
yeah,
over anything else. So
absolutely.
like sexual freedom does not exist for me if there is no safety. There is no
Yeah,
freedom if there is no safety. That's
right.
how I feel.
Absolutely.
And I kind of discern. I'm feeling people out, and yeah, you look good, but like, what's your spirit like, right? Like, are
Hmm.
you the kind of person I need to be letting inside of my body, on my body? Do we need to be connecting in that way? And I understand that other people have less intimate relationships with
Yeah,
sex, but that's just what it is for me.
absolutely. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
like, I that maybe one day I could attend a sex party, but because of my relationship to sex that I'm not really interested
Yeah.
in changing right now, I don't want to be put in a situation where I feel like I have to interact with someone in a way that I don't want to.
Hmm.
And so control is still a necessary part of that experience for me.
Hmm.
And that does feel free to me because like I don't think that sexual freedom has to look the same for all of us.
Absolutely.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Um and if there comes a day in my life where I'm like I want more people here, that still has to look a certain way. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It
Yeah.
just would. It
Yeah.
can't look, it looks like me knowing these people, knowing who they are and what kind of spirit they have, because I don't want to be fucking demons. Like, I don't want like lay with motherfuckers who have ill intentions, who are like,
Yeah.
and it's already hard doing that individual to individual.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a tangent, but
No,
that's
it was fun. I
my
think
truth.
I'm looking at this episode more as of a banter, as a
Yeah.
nuanced conversation. I'm not looking for like so real. I'm looking for thought pieces or things of that nature. So that's why I'm just like just wanting to know your thoughts. There was no answer for me. It was just like we're talking it out. But I think my mindset, and I'm always in my head like, can there be a control or a variable, or the over being science, or can you have a control in those spaces? Can you go into a circuit space, not circuit space, a sex space? I'm like, I want to have sex with you. Do you want to have sex with me? Great. We have sex with each other. We get it off. I feel comfortable that I've got mine off with you. I can leave. If you want to do your big one with other people, you can. I think it's just like,
From what
yeah,
I've heard, yeah.
yeah,
From
no,
what I've
yeah,
heard, that
yeah,
is very present.
yeah.
There are a lot of people in my life who either regularly attend sex parties or who just have.
Same, yeah,
And they have not expressed the kinds of concerns that I am saying. So
yeah,
there seems to be, you can
yeah.
do whatever.
Yeah, because what I'm sensing is you are very emotionally and physically and spiritually connected
Yes, and
to
I'm not
your
interested in disconnecting those things from each
right,
other
and
at
that's
all.
per. You and I see that, and I know that's why I think those spaces, regardless if it's a safe or if it's a sex party, or you still have to feel spiritually, physically, and emotionally connected. And I
Hmm.
think sometimes some people may be able to disconnect those
Yeah.
because their part is I would like to release my inhibition. I want to have sex. This is all we're doing, and I don't have to have the expectations of like anything afterwards. Which I think that's it's a thing, because I think for me sexual freedom. Which was I didn't see you. I was looking
No,
up.
just because those things are all connected doesn't mean I expect things afterwards.
Yeah, no,
I want to make that clear.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, sorry. I didn't. I looked down. I seen your hand, so I was like, I was looking up. But no, I definitely agree with you. I think for me is I always have to feel comfortable. There always has to be a sense of like consent in anything that I do, because my fear is I want somebody to enjoy this as much as me. I want this to be a space where we are both having a ball, we are having a good old time, and the vibes are right, and we both are in it, and we are both wanting to do it. Sexual freedom to me is not having the eyes of, or gaze of judgment or fear of someone scrutinizing me for showing up the way that I like to show up sexually. Meaning there's not any ramifications, there's no crucifixions, there's just no judgment of this is how I show up sexually. You don't, I'm not saying this is how you have to show up, but this is how I show up. And I don't want to feel as though that is being put to judgment or fear of
Hmm.
someone judging me. So I think that's what it all to me is like, I want to be fun. I want to be free. I want to be living, and I want to be comfortable. And I just don't want to see, like, if you go to like a party and everybody's not dancing, but you're dancing on the dance floor and everybody's around you, just you feel like there's eyes on you that are like not of judgment, not of like, oh, you fucking it up. It's just like, oh, why is this person dancing? Like, why is this person really doing all this at the club? That's something I don't want to see, because then that makes me not feel comfortable enough to be in a space that is supposed to be for that. So that's just always my nuances. Less removing judgment and stigma so that you can show up and be free as the space or as you would desire to be in that manner.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, but I think it's also a personal thing. I'm still getting there. Am I sexually free? No.
You don't think you are?
I don't think that I am. Internally, behind closed doors, absolutely, because behind closed doors, yes. But like as how I present, if I go to a party or something of that nature, there is reservation just because of you. Also, when you're gay and you try to show up a certain way, people might assault you because you're being too you. That
Yeah.
is my fears. We always have to have that extra layer of caution or support, or um, be what is it?
Vigilant.
Vigilant, because of your freedom. Our freedom has historically lost us our lives.
I mean, we wouldn't have been able to act the way the people were at Freaknik in public. So that's why the spaces like the ones that we're discussed tonight exists so that there is a space for us to be able to do those things, to release ourselves in whatever ways we need to, within reason, of course, or within respecting someone else's desires and safety. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're not in need of those spaces, then you wouldn't go. But now I think from the conversation that we've had today, I realize that there does need to be a space for that allows for nudity that isn't tied to sex. Like there need to be social spaces for people to be naked if they want to be, but that the expectation is never, or like sex doesn't have to be involved in any way at all.
Absolutely.
I really feel like I paused for a minute when you were saying it, because I'm like, that's not what that is. That's not what we're doing there. But that's just because that's what I've seen. But you're apparently this has existed and there is a need for it. And I feel like I've walked away recognizing that there's a gap here.
I think it is a gap. Like, for example, a nude beach. You're nude doesn't mean that you are engaging in a thing sexually. It's just you're just all nude, and it's funny enough, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I was like, that because that doesn't require I have to do anything but just be freely walking around, like, woo, and nobody touching me, and it's a beach, so far away, like you don't have to be, all of those things. But yeah, girl, I think I was learning stuff too. I was just like, I always think about learning spaces. It makes you want to look up spaces more now.
Yeah, I'm going to do some research about all of these and see what's going on around here, because I do want to be naked more and not just walking around the streets half naked.
Right. But if you do that and you've created a sense of, safety and security among yourself and, confidence, I think that's perfectly fine. But it's also just always being, of course, aware of your surroundings, because people are always not comfortable because of you're comfortable. But I do appreciate this conversation. Like I said, there was no right or wrong answer. It was very nuanced. It was very much us talking and doing our banters. So it
just made me think in a way that I haven't in a while. Like I'm always thinking about my relationship to sex, and I'm working on it in home. Like this is my safe space. So I love having sex here, and I'm gonna do whatever I want to here. But I'm also like, have I reached the fullest of the freedom in my own life? And I feel like I won't do that until I'm in a relationship with someone I feel completely safe with, and that'll be where I hit my peak sexual freedom.
Yeah, I think of course, like in spaces that are legally able to be done, not out in public, like people, voyeurism, or people having, have you ever had sex in a car? Have you ever had sex on a roof? Have you ever had sex in like those type of spaces of like being sexually free? Is like I've never had sex in a car before, because I've been always afraid that I will bust a window out.
Oh, you are tall, and it is awkward. I've done it in the back of a sedan, of my sedan before, and it was awkward.
And then the windows is fogging up. I'm over here like, are we? I think of that, but like being sexually free, who cares? Like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna have fun. That is what I'm thinking. But like, there is sexually free people that I love as well. Like, I be looking at people on Twitter, and I'm like, girl, you having a ball, and I am here for it. And you are safe, and you are happy, and you are doing it. So yeah, I think it is. But it's just like, what does that look like outside of the house? What does that look like outside of the controlled area you have created? What can you do outside of that so that you are able, if you are willing and wanting to, do that amongst others that have the same intentions and mindset and are all consenting in that manner? So that was just that. So thank you so much, Derwin, for talking with me. If they would like to continue this conversation, where can they find you at, Sista?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Derwin King. That's DerwinKing.
Yes, and if you all would like to continue the conversation with moi, you all can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at _Lord Every. That is _LORDEVERY. If you all would like to continue the conversation on our podcast, Instagram and socials, you can hit us up at That Black Boy Joy Pod on Instagram and Twitter. If you would like to write into us, you can hit us up at That Black Boy Podcast, That Black Boy Joy Podcast at gmail.com. And you all, of course, can watch our episodes on YouTube at That Black Boy Joy, and also on Spotify. Our videos have always been on Spotify, but I don't think we've actually formally said it. But you all
Oh,
can
that's
also
true.
check us out on Spotify if you just look up the podcast.
Yeah.
Like we always tell you all, please be so in love with who you are.
Bye.